Hello everyone and welcome to our week 3 battle for the PCL Season 2. We are taking on Just Kurt and the Portage Herdiers this week in the PCL, and we have dropped a couple of games, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, there's no way to lie about it. We've just lost 2 games in a row. That's what happens. We did that in the TBL Season 3, we made playoffs, we did that in the GBA Season 4, D-League Season 4, so it's not the end of the world dropping a couple games. We had a 4-game losing streak in the IBL and still finished second in the division. So I'm not overly worried about losing a couple of games. You're going to lose a couple of games throughout the season. I might as well get them out of the way early and then just win the rest of them. Honestly, that's the way to go. But his team, really scary, has a ton of threats. I'm not excited about it. So, Weavile, Tangrowth, Greninja, Torrent, Arcanine, Gastrodon, Misharna, Pheromosa, Drampa, Mimikyu, Starmie, and Mega Aggron, with Greninja and Arcanine being his 2 Z users. And on my side, obviously, you guys have seen the draft analysis and everything. If you haven't, go watch that. Otherwise, we're just going to jump right into it with the Pokemon that we're bringing against his absolutely horrifying team with pretty solid speed tiers, although he does lose out and kind of miss anything between 95 and 50, which is something interesting because it meant that I really didn't have to worry too much about my speed tiering in general. Since a lot of my Pokemon, like, they're just not going to outspeed something that's base 95, or they are going to outspeed things that are 50, and there's just nothing in the middle, so I didn't have to put as much into speed, so I could put more into bulk. And that's what I did. I definitely made this an even number of HP for this Armaldo, but we're going to work with what we got because I am paying tons of attention to my team, clearly. But we've got a careful-natured Armaldo with Stealth Rock, Rapid Spin, Aqua Jet knockoff. I really liked having my Rapid Spinner and Stealth Rocker be on the same Mon this week, and there isn't another option on my team for Defog and Spinning. Defog and Spinning, wow. Defog and Rocks. So I decided to go with a Rapid Spin Armaldo. It is a little bit more standard, not going to be the Swift Swim crazy shenanigans from last week, but Stealth Rock is really nice against his team, hitting Weavile, hitting Arcanine, hitting breaking a sash on Pheromosa, you know, hitting the anything else doesn't really resist it, and Gastrodon, yeah, it's a threat, but I can always knock off and do some stuff there. Aqua Jet for Pheromosa, for Arcanine, for Weavile, since none of those things can overly threaten me with priority moves. Resisting the extreme speed from Arcanine, Weavile's Ice Shard not doing anything because of my natural physical bulk, and Aqua Jet being able to do a decent chunk of damage to those Mons. Obviously, if Arcanine intimidates me, it intimidates me. And Battle Armor, because who wants to be crit? Who wants to be crit? You know, I should run more Battle Armor because I get crit all the time. Next up, we have Diggersby, Adamant, huge power with a Life Orb this week. It's going to have enough speed to outspeed an uninvested or even speed-crept Arcanine, as well as Mimikyu, although I don't expect Mimikyu to be min-speed. And then Quick Attack, Earthquake, U-Turn, and Swords Dance. This thing, if it gets the chance to set up a Swords Dance, is going to go in this week, and it can really hit things super hard with a Quick Attack. Tangrowth, which doesn't care about Quick Attack and Earthquake as much, definitely doesn't want to take a U-Turn. And Gastrodon is not appreciating an Earthquake, Misharna is not appreciating an Earthquake, Pheromosa with a Life Orb, even without a Swords Dance boost, after Stealth Rocks, has a 70% chance to die to Quick Attack if it's not defensively invested, so that is a pretty solid roll in my feeling, and honestly, with Aqua Jet and Quick Attack, I do have answers to Pheromosa, even though I have nothing that's going to naturally outspeed it. This thing's pretty self-explanatory otherwise. I just think that Life Orb, Quick Attack is going to be putting in a decent amount of work this week. Next up, we have a naive-natured Blaze Firium Z Infernape with Vacuum Wave, Fire Blast, Grass Knot, and U-Turn. His Mega Aggron made me go special this week, and also the desire for Grass Knot in case he decides to switch in his Gastrodon. Arcanine, if it's not Flash Fire, is going to take about 45% from a Fire Blast if he's not specially defensive, or from a Firium Z Fire Blast. And then Vacuum Wave once again gives me another 30% on Pheromosa, hits the Weavile hard, forces him to go for an Ice Shard. Greninja doesn't, I mean, Greninja's Water Shuriken can scare me, but otherwise I love Vacuum Wave hitting that thing if he doesn't have Water Shuriken. And it's pretty much just a general, like, nuisance to his team, hits his team very hard, outspeeds a lot of his threats. Obviously, Starmie is a big problem, and I still have to deal with Starmie in other ways. Starmie does basically get a free Rapid Spin off, which is not ideal, but it is what it is. We're going to have to deal with that as the game goes along. But this thing is going to be special this week. It's going to be mixed. It doesn't have any attack investment, but U-Turn is there just for general being able to switch out. It's a useful move for me to have. It hits his team actually reasonably hard between Weavile, Tangrowth, Greninja, Misharna, Starmie all being weak to it, so U-Turn was a generally useful move, although I couldn't go fully physical this week because of that. because of the fact that I wanted Grass Knot and the Mega Aggron would tank any physical hit at all. Next up, we have Soniki, the Gardevoir, Reflect, Heal Bell, Wish, Hyper Voice. So for the second time, we are bringing Mono Hyper Voice attacking Gardevoir. I definitely am not confident about this set being the optimal set, but that's all right at the end of the day. I think that this set does have the opportunity to put in a ton of work, as well as be able to block some certain things, like the Mega Aggron not OHKOing if I put up a Reflect with Heavy Slam, and then giving me a chance to switch out into something that's going to tank a Heavy Slam, like the Thundurus that I have later on. Heal Bell, super useful because status is one of the big things that he's got going for him, and I really don't want him to be able to just status me with Mega Aggron, with Gastrodon, Musharna, stuff like that. So Arcanine, Will-O-Wisps flying around everywhere. So Tracing, useful ability, since I can therefore switch into potentially the Musharna and synchronize whatever it wants to status me with, and then Heal Bell. I do have the access to the Storm Drain if the Gastrodon shows up, Flash Fire if the Arcanine comes, if he does bring it that way, or Regenerator with Tangrowth if I want to switch this in, get Regenerator, take a hit, and switch back out, keep the Regenerator, etc., etc. Wish is there because I don't have a lot of recovery, and I have a lot of things that need that support, and then Hyper Voice hits his team pretty hard outside of the Mega Aggron, which this thing doesn't really want to take anyway, so that is what we're going to go with for the Gardevoir. Next up, we have another Battle Armor Mon in Drapion with a Careful Nature, and so also reasonably specially bulky, but it is mixed bulk with a lot of HP, not a lot of offensive investment. Knockoff, Toxic Spikes, Earthquake, and Facade. There wasn't really a fourth move that I wanted, so I put Facade there just in case he does status me with something. I can hit something still pretty hard, and that just seemed like a decent move to have. Toxic Spike's really good against his team. He doesn't have a Poison type, so can't automatically soak them up. Starmie can if it has Natural Cure, then switch out after getting some poison, but at least I forced the Rapid Spin, and if he brings a Starmie in on my Drapion, which is actually a pretty free Pokemon for me to set up my Toxic Spikes against, since I am Careful Natured with a decent amount of special defense, I can click Knockoff on the Rapid Spin and basically neutralize his Starmie for the rest of the game, making it doesn't quite OHKO, but it puts it in range for Stealth Rocks, which is really nice. So that's a really good, really useful moveset, honestly. Nothing really wants to switch into a knockoff with the exception of the Mega Aggron, which I set up Toxic Spikes against, and I switch out. And honestly, my answer to Mega Aggron is my Thundurus, which is going to be Choice Scarf for this week to outspeed the Pheromosa. Has enough speed to outspeed anything that is slower than it, Scarfed. And Speed Tie with a Weavile. Well, not Speed Tie with a Weavile, never mind, just kidding. It outspeeds, this is level 60. At level 50, it would Speed Tie with a Weavile. That's not what I'm running this week. We're modest, we're not going to try to outspeed Weavile. If you Scarf Weavile, if you Scarf Greninja, he's going to outspeed me, and we're just going to rock with that. But Scarf Volt Switch hits everything super hard, does 50% to Mega Aggron, just about. Thunderbolt does a little bit more than that. Grass Knot's going to hit the Gastrodon, and then U-turn. It allows me to switch out on the Gastrodon if I didn't want to predict it, but know that he might bring it in, or want to hit the Tangrowth a little bit harder than Volt Switch, but honestly only marginally because I am modest max special attack, and you can see the difference between my attack and special attack on this set. Volt Switch, though, honestly hits, if I can kill the Gastrodon, like, it's doing 50% to basically everything on his team that isn't named Tangrowth, and Tangrowth isn't really a safe switch into this because I can, once I Volt Switch out, go into Infernape, I can go into Armaldo, I can go into Drapion, and all of those things are answers to Tangrowth pretty much exclusively. So, this team, I think, has potential. I honestly think this team is fairly standard in most of what it's going to do, with the exception of the Mega Gardevoir spread. But otherwise, I think this team has the capability to function very, very well and put in a lot of work and put on a lot of pressure on his team. And we'll see how it goes. I'm pretty excited for this battle, so I'm going to jump right into it. I'm not going to waste any more of your time. This was a longer team build than I expected it to be. I'm very talkative today for some reason. But anyway, I'll see you guys back here in a second with that battle, so stay tuned, everybody. To the third week of the PCL, if you have not checked out Just Kurt, I believe that's his YouTube name, I'm not actually 100% sure, but if you have not checked out the Portage Herdiers and Kurt, then I encourage you to do so. His link, as is all of my opponents, as it is every week, is down in the description below, so please go check that out. He is just getting his team ready, and we are going to get this underway. If you did not watch the team builder, do that. I put them in the same video, so you don't have to click on two different videos. You can just spend, I don't know, less than 10 minutes, just watch the team builder. It's pretty interesting, and it explains everything that I'm thinking about, so that when I don't do it during the battle, you know that I'm not doing it, and you can scream at your computer more aggressively, being like, why are you not doing the thing you said you were going to be doing? And it's because I'm not a very good battler. But you can see what I'm expecting my opponent to bring. Arcanine, Mega Aggron, I think is coming. If he doesn't bring Mega Aggron, it's probably going to be Mimikyu instead. Not Mimikyu instead. I have Mimikyu on there. Tangrowth instead. Or Gastrodon, one of the two. Just as a bulky pivot right there. And then Pheromosa is definitely coming. There's like no doubt in my mind. Starmie's definitely coming because it presents a very good matchup against my team. No doubt about that. And then Greninja as well. The great thing about knowing that Starmie and Greninja are coming is that they are both weak to a lot of the same types. In fact, almost all of the same types in terms of bug and electric and grass. So that's really nice to know. Obviously, the Dark and Ghost weaknesses exchanged on Greninja's resistances for a fighting and fairy weakness that Starmie resists fighting, and Fairy's neutral. So, we do have the option there to play around that with a lot of U-turn. And if you haven't seen the fact that half my team has U-turn on it, you should go check that out, obviously, in the team builder. But, you know, if he does bring this team and he doesn't have Gastrodon, it means that my Thundurus is 100% pretty free to just Rampage with Volt Switch, which I would love. If he has Gastrodon, it means that I don't have the ability to just Rampage with Volt Switch, and I can just U-turn instead for a little while until he proves that his Gastrodon's to switch into my Thundurus, and then I just Grass Knot. Pretty simple. Nothing too fancy going on there. Really, the big thing with Kurt is going to be predicting his lead. I'm not sure what he's going to lead, honestly. I don't know. This is a longer intro than I was expecting it to be, so I'll probably just bring you guys back in later. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do what I said, and then I'll bring you guys back in later. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Everything's fine. Or I'll just edit it. I don't know. He's done anyway. It took like 30 seconds. That was not even 30 seconds, so I don't even know what I'm going to do with that. But anyway, we're going to select our participating Pokemon, and we're going to see what he's going to be bringing. He has the Drampa. He has the Tangrowth. He does not have the Greninja. He has no Gastrodon. He has the Drampa, which I was not predicting, but I've seen how scary Drampa can be firsthand. He has no Arcanine, he has Weavile, so that's going to be a fun thing for me to have to deal with. And he has no Mimikyu, he has the Tangrowth, not the Mimikyu. Where's the Mimikyu? There's the Mimikyu. Alright, get rid of that, put the Tangrowth in its spot, and, ooh, it's just rubbing Drampa's butt a little bit right there. Alright, so, no Greninja, no Arcanine means no Z moves anywhere on his team, which is kind of cool. We've got Mega Aggron, oh god, that's not what I wanted. It's not what I wanted. We got Mega Aggron, we've got Starmie. I'm just putting in my notes what he's got. No Gastrodon, but Mimikyu instead. No Mimikyu, Drampa instead. Alright. Cool, so what do we think he's going to lead with? Mega Aggron's a very probable lead. I just threw things on the floor. Mega Aggron's a very likely lead to get rocks up on my side of the field. I can counter that with Infernape as a big threat to that Mega Aggron, and it can U-turn out off of just about anything else that isn't named Starmie. And if he does lead with the Starmie, then I can bluff the Scarf, and I can play around the Starmie. Do I want to lead Infernape, or do I want to lead with my Thundurus? Infernape... I like Infernape, I think. It stops his Mega Aggron from setting up rocks, and that's honestly, it's a big deal. I could have my Thundurus with a Threatened Focus Blast at the beginning of the game, but honestly, I can click Fire EMZ first turn and kill something. There's just nothing that's going to want to switch into that. Starmie can take one, sort of. Yeah. Bedhead is the Tangrowth. And we are underway. So we have Infernape staring down Tangrowth. Now, let's say he's Assault Vested. I have the Fire EMZ Inferno Overdrive to max defense Assault Vested Tangrowth. Oko's this thing. So we're going to just... I could U-turn and bluff Scarf, but I'm going to... Nah. We're going to Fire EMZ. And we're going to kill something. Straight up. Mega Aggron is a problem, but it's not an undefeatable problem for my team, since I can take one Earthquake with Infernape and Fire Blast later. I can switch in my Thundurus pretty freely on it. Diggersby outspeeds it and can Earthquake and do a lot of damage. Drapion, I mean, obviously Earthquake scares my team a little bit, but it's not the end of the world, and it's not Stab, so don't have to worry too much about it. I'm just going to click Fire EMZ. He has no switch into this right now. His Starmie is his only possible switch in. And it's going to take 60%. And and I don't think that's what he wants to do. You know, that would just chunk the Starmie in a way that it doesn't need to be chunked. So we're just gonna try to kill a Tangrowth. There is a role where if he's max HP, max special defense, and assault vested, he has a 12.5% chance to live. So technically there's a role where he survives this, but for the most part, I don't see it being... I hope it doesn't happen, is really where I'm going to go with that. Yeah, and he just straight dead. Kill what's in front of you. Alright, so Infernape kills Tangrowth with Inferno Overdrive. And the battle has begun. He knows we're not Scarfed Infernape, which is a decent amount of information for him to have. Obviously, it means Weavile and Starmie will outspeed me, as well as Pheromosa. He doesn't know necessarily whether we're physical or special, which is another reason I wanted to run Fire EMZ. Since if his Tangrowth was that, like, Spadef Assault Vested set, yes, we kill that, but also there's a chance that if I was running an offensive nature, then I would just kill a physically defensive one as well. Pheromosa comes in. What do you do? What do you do to Infernape? Do you high jump kick me? If you're Life Orb, you kill. Do you high jump kick right now to try to get some boosts? Because I think my switch is going to be Gardevoir? No, that's not a good switch, because then he'll just... Well, I want to scout his item, and I don't want to lose Infernape because it is helpful for the Aggron. I could go Thunderous, but if he predicts and goes Ice Beam, that's just not a great switch in, honestly. I could go Drapion, so if he U-turns, then he's going to do a little bit of damage, but not too much. I think he's going to high jump kick right here. The question is, how much are you doing to Gardevoir? With high jump kick. Like 30%. Okay, yeah, we're gonna go guard here. And if he does high jump kick, then he high jump kicks. If he doesn't, then we get some information. And this does bait in the Mega Aggron pretty freely, which is annoying, but not the end of the world. But we're going to see what he decides that he wants to go for. Is he predicting? No, he's just going straight for the high jump kick. So I could have been aggressive with that. So he does a little bit more than I expected. No Life Orb. But we are going to Mega, which gives us a decent amount of extra bulk. And he could go Mega Aggron at this point. So I think my best option is going to be setting up either a Reflect or going for a Wish. And then switching out into our Maldo on the Mega Aggron. Although if he goes for the Heavy Slam, I probably want to go into my Thunderous and then click Volt Switch from there. I could just straight double out, but I don't think that's the best play either. So I'm going to go for a Wish here. He's probably just going to go straight Mega Aggron, and he's going to get a chance to set up his Stealth Rocks, which is a little annoying. But, you know, it is what it is. There's the Mega Aggron, so... Obviously, if I had Focus Blast on this, I would have definitely clicked it right there. There was no other play in my mind. But Wish is pretty free, and I can go Armaldo here, which will get my Wish back, and be able to come in, click Rocks, Rapid Spin away his Rocks, and threaten him with, well, not really threaten him with anything. I really don't have anything coverage on it for the Mega Aggron. The other option is going out into Thunderous here, although I do expect the Rocks to come up on my side of the field. I do like the Thunderous play, since I don't have any coverage on the Armaldo. But I do have the Rapid Spin, which is, you know, a decently nice thing to do. I mean, he is just going to go for Stealth Rocks here, and we know that. So I could let my Gardevoir get healthy again, and go for the Reflect, because he's not going to Heavy Slam, especially with the Wish Up. And I really don't gain a ton by switching out in the first place, so I am going to click Reflect here, and he's just going to set up his rocks, and I can then click Wish again if I want to, or I can just go hard into Thunderous at that point. And we are just going to get the Reflect up here. We're going to get myself back to full health, which is really important. And if he doesn't set up his rocks, then that would shock me out of this world. That would just be mind-boggling if he didn't go for Stealth Rocks there. So, we are going to be able to get my Gardevoir back to full. We have a Reflect up right now. Now, he could run Roar. I don't see him going for an Earthquake. I see him going for a Heavy Slam. But either one, my Thunderous is pretty safe to come in here. The worst case is that he goes for a Roar. Gardevoir does take one Heavy Slam, but I don't want it getting weakened since it is still an answer to Pheromosa and can switch in on that pretty much every time. So I'm going to go into my Thunderous here, and if he does go for the Roar, hopefully he roars me into my Armaldo. I know it's going to take 25%, but I do have the Rapid Spin on that and can get rid of the rock, so he can't keep roaring. And if he goes for the Heavy Slam or the Earthquake, that covers both options, since both of them are resisted, and I have the Reflect up as well. So we are going to take 25%. He's going to switch out. He's going to go out into Starmie. Okay. Well, I don't think you're going to be running Scarf Starmie, because that doesn't make sense in this matchup, since this thing needs to be your spinner. So I could Thunderbolt here. Every one of my moves is super effective against Starmie. I could Thunderbolt here, which would take out the Starmie. He has no switch into that at all. And I really just don't necessarily see you running Scarf Starmie. If you are, then kudos. You know, you got me. But if this thing doesn't have a Rapid Spin on it, then I'm going to be mind-boggled. I'm going to Volt Switch here. I have no reason to stay in right now. And he does not like that matchup at all. And Drompa's going to come out. That's what I was potentially expecting to happen. And so we are just going to get off a Volt Switch. Do about 25% to the Drampa. This is a chance to go into Armaldo and get off a spin of my own, which is really, really nice. Drampa can't have a Z move on it. And so I am going to Rapid Spin here. I really would potentially rather set up my own rocks, but I do have a chance to do that on the following turn. And I definitely don't want his rocks on my side of the field. I know his Aggron's still healthy, but forcing it to continue set up Stealth Rocks when Gardevoir comes in is really nice for me, since it does mean that I can predict that the Aggron's going to come in and hard switch out, double out into something else. Additionally, I would love to get my Drapion in and go for the Toxic Spikes and get my own rocks and stuff like that, force him to spin with his Starmie. Little things like that are going to really help me wear his team down in the long run. Getting rid of Tangrowth, really, really nice. Yes, it does prove that my Infernape is not Focus Sash, is not Scarf. Now, if he goes back Aggron here, then he just wouldn't want to set up his rocks again. He's just stalling out turns of my Reflect, I think, at this point. But that's not a huge deal. If he goes for the Heavy Slam, I'm not going to stress about it too much. I am going to get my own rocks up right here. Since I do have the Reflect for one more turn, so he can't kill me with a Heavy Slam. He's probably going to set up his rocks, but I have my spinner in right now. So what do we lose? And honestly, if he does kill me with his Mega Aggron, then I have the opportunity to switch out into something, and hopefully I just get the Rapid Spin off when he kills me. And we're able to play around this Mega Aggron. Obviously, this thing's a threat, and I don't have my Z move anymore. So we do have to watch out for the Mega Aggron, since my Fire Blast is doing about 60% if he's max specially defensive. We obviously gain no information because there's no role in which Rapid Spin's doing more than like 1 damage to this thing, no matter what his defensive investment is. So if he's max specially defensive, then we are going to be having to deal with this thing taking a hit. If he's not, then he does outspeed me, which is annoying, but it's not the end of the world. So I'm going to click Rapid Spin here, and let him take out my Armaldo at this point while I go down spinning. He's not going to kill me with a Heavy Slam, and I am going to be able to click Rapid Spin and get off an attack here, or just get rid of the rocks here one more time. Oh, he does kill me. Is it crit? No, it didn't crit. Wow, he's got offensive investment. Okay. Noted. Duly noted that he has offensive investment in this thing, because I don't believe that Mega Aggron, if he's defensive, It can. There's a roll that it does kill with a heavy slam with my spread. So maybe he is defensive. So I can go Infernape here, which I think I'm going to do. Infernape does put in a lot of work against this thing. He does have his rocks up once again, which is super frustrating, but I also have my rocks up, which is less frustrating because at least it's rocks for rocks here. And I'm going to click... I mean, I could click Fire Blast. He kind of needs this thing to be healthy, and he knows my Infernape is an answer to it. So he's probably going to switch it out. And if he doesn't switch it out, he's going for an Earthquake. So, and since he can take a Fire Blast, I probably should just go out into my Thunderous at this point. Since he's probably gonna double out into Starmie, to try to rapid spin my own rocks away, and he'll get a free chance to do that if I don't U-turn. So I am gonna click U-turn here. He does stay in, so he's either gonna click Earthquake or Roar. It's probably one of those two. But my answer is to go into Thunderous here. If he clicks Roar, then I'm sad, and I click Thunderbolt on the following turn. If he clicks Heavy Slam, that's just an amazing prediction. But yeah, there's an Earthquake right there. So we are getting access to his spread. Earthquake. We can threaten the Focus Blast right here. I honestly think that Volt Switching is my better play. I do not want to lose my Thunderous. This thing is way too important for the late game. So it is taking a lot more chip than I wanted it to. But I can threaten with a Volt Switch on anything not named Drampa, and that's fine if he goes Drampa here. Then we can handle that with other Pokemon on my team. Namely, the Diggersby is probably what I go into on the Drampa. And then I can click Earthquake against his entire team. Since Tangrowth is gone, we do still have that in the back as an answer to everything. And it should do 50% to a Drampa. I mean, I'm going to look it up, but I don't think Diggersby is going to do less than 50% to a Drampa with an Earthquake. Yeah, Life Orb Earthquake's doing, it's around 100%. So I don't know what you're going for here. He does have some special bulk in this thing. I really don't know what you're going to click here. If it's Heavy Slam, then I go Infernape, and I click Fire Blast. If it's Roar, then I go Drapion, because anything else is better than Drapion. Well, except the Gardevoir. Well, Gardevoir can Reflect. I'm going to go... He could Thunder Wave. He's not Thunder Waving either. I'm going to go Infernape here. If he Earthquakes a second time, then God Tier plays. But either of the Pokemon I was baiting between, we're not going to like enjoy an Earthquake right here. There's a Heavy Slam. So it doesn't seem like he has Roar, or he would be clicking it. And Infernape can take that. And we are just going to click Fire Blast at this point. And prove that we are a special Infernape. He's going to switch out into the Starmie now. Which is really annoying, because he is going to get that Rapid Spin off. Infernape is no longer useful to me. I have other answers to his, whatchamacallit, Aggron. And I do lose my rocks here. I wouldn't say Infernape is no longer useful, but I think Grass Knot is going to be my best play here. And if his Starmie is bulky, which it isn't, based on that roll, it's got a little bit of investment, but not a ton. Grass Knot's going to kill, so I'm going to go for a Grass Knot. And if I do outspeed him, then that'd be really nice. But I'm not expecting to necessarily outspeed him, and if he doesn't Rapid Spin, then I do have the ability to keep up rocks on his side of the field, which is really nice as well. Since I can then go out into Thunderous and click Thunderbolt. Which at this point, I think I need to just be clicking Thunderbolt. And his Aggron's in the place where it can't switch in twice to a Thunderbolt. And Pheromosa can't switch in safely to a Thunderbolt since I'm Scarfed. So there's the Scald. He is going to leave the rocks up, which, I mean, I didn't really have a switch into that. My only switch in here is Thunderous, and then I click, do I click T-Bolt at that point? Mega Aggron might still be in range to take one T-Bolt, but nothing else is going to take it well. So I am, the only other option is if Diggersby kills with Quick Attack here, but I don't think it does. It would be a roll. I don't like that roll. We're going to go Thunderous, and we're just going to go... I can Volt Switch. I still have a switch into Rocks after this. So because I haven't taken any damage, so we are still perfectly on timer for one more switch into Stealth Rocks. And I can't take a hit from Weavile anyway at this range regardless, so Volt Switch is probably my best play here, since Drampa can come in here if he wants it to, and then I'd be hosed. So we're just gonna Volt Switch, since Drampa is probably coming in. Yeah, there's the Drampa. Don't have Hidden Power Ice or anything for this week, so gonna have to play around that, but we should be able to chip him down to where Scarf Thunderous should be able to finish the game. Gets Berserk. He's not gonna outspeed the Mega Gardevoir that's about to come in right here, so well, is Mega Gardevoir gonna come in, or is Diggersby gonna come in? Because Diggersby can EQ. It brings back in Starmie, but Starmie's gonna take Stealth Rocks, and then Life Orb Quick Attack isn't a roll. After one more turn of Stealth Rocks. So the only thing that would come in on this would be the Weavile. Diggersby to Drampa. From this range, if he's not defensive, U-turn kills, but I don't think that's worth it. I'm just going to click EQ. And I didn't mark down that Mega Aggron. Kills Armaldo with Heavy Slam. And he has no switch into this. If he goes Starmie after this, he'll know that I'm Life Orbed. But I have, like, I don't think he has any bulk on that thing. So Drampa's dead. He had Berserk. And Diggersby kills Drampa with Earthquake. So Weavile, I feel like, has to come in here. And if Weavile comes in, I just go into my Drapion, which is still healthy. And go from there. If Pheromosa comes in, then I'm in a terrible position where I kind of have to go for the 70% roll that Quick Attack kills it. If Starmie comes out, it's going to take a little bit of Stealth Rock damage. And from that range, it says, if he's not defensive, that Quick Attack has a... I mean, he's at 45%. Quick Attack's a guaranteed OHKO from there. He needs a decent amount of HP investment. More than he would get for trying to speed creep my Infernape. So I'm going to click Quick Attack. And if it doesn't kill, then we're in a lot of trouble. And it doesn't kill. He goes for Scald. We're in a lot of trouble here. That's really bad. Oh, we live in! We live in on one. We're not living on one. Oh, Starmie kills Diggersby with Scald. Scald Burn, technically. Oh, God. What kill did I miss? Starmie kills Infernape. I missed that one. Starmie kills Infernape with Scald. Okay, what do I go into on this thing? I mean, I can go Thunderous, but then I have to Thunderbolt, and he's just going to kill it with his Weavile. I can't do that. Drapion's pretty safe here, and is still really healthy, which is nice. So I need the Weavile to take some damage somewhere. Is honestly what's going to have to happen. Now, I can Earthquake here, which doesn't hit the Pheromosa very hard. I can knock off a potential Scarf on something. Man, even with that little HP, that was clearly a roll. He had enough investment to survive it, but it was definitely a roll. There's almost no amount of HP that would have made it that was not some kind of roll. That's incredibly frustrating. Earthquake is my best answer to the potential Aggron which comes in here. And doesn't hit the I think knockoff is my... There's like a very interesting, like... Doesn't hit the Weavile, or it hits the Weavile harder. Yeah, I'll go Earthquake. It doesn't hit the Pheromosa as hard, but I don't see him hard switching in Pheromosa. There's the Rapid Spin. That's not great. And we're just going to click Earthquake here. And I can't believe he survived that. I can't believe he survived that. So, Drapion kills Starmie with Earthquake. Oh, man. That roll, dude, that roll. This league, just I cannot get the rolls to go my way. He's going to have to bring something in here. Does Pheromosa Oko me with a high jump kick? We know you're not high horsepower. We know you're not Life Orb. I don't know what item you are. But high jump kick's not killing without the Life Orb. It's doing 50 to 60%, but it's not killing. And I can click Facade here, potentially. Or I can click Earthquake again, which is still doing a decent amount. I'm gonna click Knockoff. I know it doesn't... You could miss. You could miss high jump kick. I had Protect on this set, too, over Facade. Yo, what? Is this banded? It's gotta be banded. He's gotta be banded. Beast Boost in attack. Yeah, he's probably banded. And so... Pheromosa kills Drapion with high jump kick. There's no way that kills if he's not choice banded. And even with a choice band, adamant, that's still a roll. Oh my god, these rolls are brutal! With the Weavile where it's at, and the Aggron where it's at, if I go into my Thundurus, he just sacks off his Pheromosa. Which, do I even kill it from full? I should. Yeah, I do. But then he goes Weavile, and then Aggron's still alive to take on the Gardevoir, which it single-handedly kills the Gardevoir. So I have to go Gardevoir here. But Weavile then just stays in the back for the Thundurus. So either way, I think he's got this one, and I do believe that the Diggersby dying to the roll, which was 100%. I will ask him about his set, but there is zero doubt in my mind that that it was a roll on... It was a roll on the Starmie that cost me the game. There is zero doubt in my mind that was a roll. You let this thing die. There's no way you don't. You win the game if you let this thing die. Yeah. And he lands another high jump kick, which does a lot of damage. Now, my only chance is that he brings in the Weavile here, and for some reason he's choice-banded Weavile. Even then, I don't win, because then he just switches down to Aggron. Or if he doesn't have the Ice Shard. If he doesn't have the Ice Shard, then, like, maybe there's a chance, but why would you not bring the Ice Shard this week? So, Mega Gardevoir kills Pheromosa with Hyper Voice. He went Weavile. Just click Ice Shard right here. Just click Ice Shard. Knock off. Are you scarfed? I mean, it doesn't matter. Your Life Orb. So he's gotta have the Ice Shard. 100% has to have Ice Shard. There's no way he doesn't. And I don't know how I survived on 3 just now. That's confusing as heck. Because I should survive on 1. But there's the Ice Shard, so yeah. That roll, I don't know what it was. What his Starmie set is, but that was not English. Weavile kills Mega Gardevoir with knockoff. Weavile kills Thundurus T with Ice Shard. Hold on, I'm gonna ask him before I end this recording, and I'm gonna get back to you with what that Starmie set was. Alright, so I asked Kurt, and he said that his Starmie actually was 140 HP and 148 defense, so he actually had a lot of bulk, and it was a roll still, but it was not in my favor, so that's the way that's going to go. So shoutouts to Kurt, great game. I wasn't saying that he didn't deserve his win, I was just frustrated because I don't like losing to RNG, which I lose to a lot, so... we are now 0-3. This is the worst start I've had since the TBL Season 3, but I would like to point out that season I went on a 6-1 run to end the season and made playoffs, and so there is a very good chance the New York Empoleon are not out yet. But we have our work cut out for us in a division in which the players are pulling away from us. Losing the head-to-heads is not ideal, so I think that there's a lot of hope for this team, but it is my style of play does not fit this team super well, so I might make some changes before Week 4. We'll see. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you all next week as we take on, I don't know, I didn't check the schedule. I should probably have done that before I said anything. But anyway, we will be taking on another player in this battle, or in this league. Thank you all so much for watching. Take care, everybody.